Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we're continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. We heard yesterday that how Akrur, he saw uh, Lord Vishnu in the water lying on Anantashesh, and Lord Vishnu was being worshipped by all the great demigods, all the sages, along with all the personification of all his potencies. So in this chapter, we are going to hear Akrur offers prayers to the Lord. It's entitled The Prayers of Akrur. Okay. This chapter relates Akrura's prayers to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Akrura prayed, Brahma, who created this visible world, emanated from the lotus navel of the Supreme Lord, the 5 elements of physical nature, the 5 corresponding objects of perception, the 10 senses, the ego, the total nature, the primeval creator, and the demigods all originate from his bodily limbs. He cannot be known by sensory knowledge, and thus even Brahma and the other demigods are ignorant of his real identity. Different classes of people worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead in different ways. Fruitive workers worship him by performing Vedic sacrifices, philosophers by renouncing material work and pursuing spiritual knowledge, yogis by meditating, Shaivites by worshipping Lord Shiva, Vaishnavas by following the injunctions of such scriptures as the Pancharatra, and other saintly persons by worshipping him as the original form of the self, of the material substance, and of the controlling demigods. Just as rivers flow from various directions into the ocean, the worship of those who dedicate themselves to these various entities finds its ultimate purpose within the Supreme Lord Vishnu. The form of the total universe, the Virat Roop, is imagined to be the form of Lord Vishnu, like aquatics moving about in water, or like tiny insects burrowing in an Udambara fruit. All living beings move about within the Lord. These living beings, bewildered by his Maya, wander along the path of material world, falsely identifying with body, home, and so forth. Under the sway of illusion, a foolish person may overlook a reservoir of water covered by grass and leaves, and instead run after a mirage. Similarly, living beings caught in the grip of ignorance abandon Lord Vishnu and become attached to their bodies, homes, and so on. Such faithful servants of their senses cannot take shelter of the Supreme Lord's lotus feet. Only if, by His mercy, they get the association of saintly devotees, will their material entanglement end. Only then can they develop Krishna consciousness by serving the Lord's pure devotees. So this was a summary of the prayers we're going to hear now. Shri Akrur Uvacha
Shri Akrur Vacha
Natosmi Aham Tvakila Hetu Hetum
Natosme Aham Tvakila Hetu Hetum
Narayanam Purusham Adyam Avyayam
Narayanam Purusham Madhyam Avyayam
Yanabhijatat Aravinda Koshad
Yanna Vijata Tarvind Koshad
Brahma Virasid Yata Esha Lokaha.
ब्रह्मा विराशीद्यते श्लोक.
Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sri Akrur said, I bow down to you, the cause of all causes, the original and inexhaustible Supreme Person, Narayan. From the whirl of the lotus, born from your navel, Brahma appeared, and by his agency, this universe has come into being. So Akrur is seeing Lord Narayan in the water and he's offering these beautiful prayers. He's saying, you are the cause of all causes. We hear also Lord Brahma in the Brahma Samhita saying, Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadi Adir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. That Krishna, you are the original personality of Godhead, cause of all causes. Here we see Akrura is saying the same thing. And then we heard how in the matter of creation, from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu comes a lotus flower. And Lord Brahma is the first created being. And then Lord Brahma, he does the function of the secondary creation because the elements are all created by the Supreme Lord. And then Lord Brahma is like a potter who already has the clay and water and then gives shapes to that clay. Is that okay?
Yes, yes, okay.
Yes. Okay. All right. Bhusto agni pavanam kamadir
भूस्तोयमग्नि पवनं कामदि
mahan ajadir mana indriyani
महन् अजादिर्मन इन्द्रियाणि
sarvendriyartha vibuddhascha sarve
सर्वेन्द्रियार्था विभुसाश्च सर्वे
yehe tavaste jagaton kabhutaha.
ये हेतवस्ते जगतो निगमभूता.
Okay, what is that? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, and its source, false ego, the Mahatattva, the total material nature, and her source, the Supreme Lord's Purusha expansion, the mind, the sense objects, and the senses presiding deities. All these causes of the cosmic manifestation are born from your transcendental body. So we had heard this also in great detail in the second and third canto of Bhagavatam, how the creation takes place, how the Lord creates the material elements, and how then gradually the false ego, mind, senses, uh, the Lord creates those, and then the demigods and the presiding deities of these senses. So Krishna is the cause of all causes. Everything we see is created by Krishna. Anything. Just like we see a watch, we'll say, "Oh, who's the maker? Who's the maker?" Watch has such intricate mechanism. So who's the maker? We will say. So similarly, the universe has got such perfect, very intricate mechanism. So who's the creator? Is the Supreme Lord. So the false ego, the mind, the material nature, all the elements, the demigods, the senses, the sense objects, the presiding deities of the senses, everyone is coming from the Supreme Lord. Naite svarupam viduratmanaste
नैते स्वरूपं विदुरात्मनस्ते
हि अजातयो नात्मतया गृहीतः
यजातयो आत्मत्या गृहते
अजोऽनुबद्धः सगुणैरजाय
अजोऽनुबद्धः सगुणैरजाया
गुणात् परं वेद न ते स्वरूपम्.
गुणात् परं वेद न ते स्वरूपम्.
The total material nature and these other elements of creation certainly cannot know you as you are, for they are manifested in the realm of dull matter. Since you are beyond the modes of nature, even Lord Brahma, who is bound up in these modes, does not know your true identity. God is transcendental to material nature. Unless we also transcend the limited consciousness of material existence, we cannot know Him. Even the greatest living entity in the universe, Brahma, cannot understand the Supreme unless he comes to the platform of pure Krishna consciousness. So Akrura is saying everyone who is created in the material world cannot understand the Supreme Lord. Why? Because our consciousness is now covered. It's now covered. We are thinking we are the body. We simply have to come to our original consciousness, our pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness. And then we will be able to understand the Supreme Lord. The Lord is never bound by the modes of nature, but we get bound. We, the jivas, get bound by the modes of nature. Tvam yogino yajanti adda
त्वं योगिनो यजन्ति अद्या
mahapurusham ishwaram
महापुरुषम् ईश्वरम्
sadhyatmam sadhibhutam cha
शाध्यात्मं शाधिभूतं च
Sadidevam cha sadhavaha.
शाधिदेवं च साधव.
Pure yogis worship you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by conceiving of you in the threefold form comprising the living entities, the material elements that constitute the living entities' bodies, and the controlling deities of those elements. So the yogis here, Akrura is saying the yogis who are pure, they understand the Supreme Lord. He has the potencies. Supreme Lord is not alone. We have been hearing that He is the cause of all causes. He is the creator of the material elements. And then He's also created the senses. He's created the deities of those elements. And also we, the living entities, are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So the yogis are worshipping the Supreme Lord along with all His potencies. Traya cha vidyaya kechet
त्रयाया च विद्यया केचित्
tvam vaitanika dvijaha
त्वं वेत्तात्मिका द्विज
yajante vitater yagye
यजन्ते विद्यतेर्यज्ञे
nana rupamarakhyaya.
नानारूपामर्
Brahmanas who follow the regulations concerning the three sacred fires worship you by chanting mantras from the three Vedas and performing elaborate fire sacrifices for the various demigods who have many forms and names. Akrur has now described how those who follow the paths of Sankhya yoga, and the three Vedas worship the Supreme Lord in different ways. In the various places where the Vedas appear to recommend that one worship Indra, Varuna, and other demigods, these demigods are stated to be supreme. But at the same time, the Vedas state that there is one supreme controller, the absolute truth, that is Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who expands his potency through material creation into the forms of the demigods. Thus, worship of the demigods goes to him through the indirect method of karmakand or fruitive religious rituals. Ultimately, however, one who wants to achieve eternal perfection should worship the Lord directly in full Krishna consciousness. So Akrura is saying that although the Vedas, they mention the worship of the different demigods by performing different kinds of sacrifices, so these are also worshipping you, but not directly, but indirectly. Because one may be worshipping the demigods, but we also have to understand what the Vedas are saying, that the demigods are not independent. They are also um, devotees of Krishna. They are also serving Krishna. They are put in certain administrative positions for the maintenance of the universe by Lord Krishna. So, by worshipping the demigods through the different rituals, one is indirectly worshipping Krishna. But of course, one who wants to have, one who wants to revive one's loving relationship with Krishna, then they worship Lord Krishna directly. The direct worship is recommended, in fact. And we are not encouraged to to do the indirect worship of Krishna, rather direct worship of Lord Krishna to revive our loving relationship with Krishna. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, I was gonna ask why this is my impression through online just online impression through groups and websites uh related to ISKCON. There's a very heavy presence of Ganesha, like on the side. I always see it. Like it's Krishna, 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 but then there's gonna be always like, oh, but we sell Ganesha statues or or something like this. And I was wondering about that. It's always Ganesha and there's a female goddess that I'm not sure who it is. I'm not sure if it's Lakshmi or someone else. Um, so I was wondering what's up with that, because the instruction is very clear, right? We only do Krishna, but then there's this other thing. Um, And I mean, I'm not against this. I'm just wondering because Prabhupada seemed to be very adamant about this point. Um, I myself have nothing against this, but I'm wondering what's the culture, what's the underlying uh how do the devotees in the whole movement handle this?
Yeah, that's true. I'm wondering too. I'm not sure. Why would the devotees do that? And Prabhupada, and we are discouraged to do this throughout Bhagavad Gita, throughout Bhagavatam.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure either. Why would devotees be selling Lord Ganesh and Lord and Lakshmi Devi's deities?
Or you go to their houses and they have the pictures and statues of Ganesha and Lakshmi.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, if the
uh,
devotees have it in their house, that is
uh-huh.
different thing, right?
Okay, okay,
Because
yeah.
yeah, because the standard is in the temple. Then again,
Oh yeah.
because right? And then
Mhm.
every devotee will be in their own level, in their own,
Right.
right? So,
Yeah.
well, what people do in their house, we can't say anything about that.
Oh yeah, and I understand. Yeah, because Krishna does
Mhm.
allow for everybody to be on their own level, right? So if you do
That's
it at
right.
home, but
Yeah, and
promoting it.
also understanding the culture because, Indians are coming from that cultural background. So the
Mm,
devotees, it may be because of family reasons or their own personal reasons. But in the temple, you will not
mm-hmm,
see that.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, and I think that culture spread over to the Western devotees because I knew it first from Western devotees who would have their Krishna sadhana, and then they would have this. You would look at the corner of their house, and they have a little a little shrine for Ganesha, for example. It's very common, uh, I think, even with the Western devotees,
Yeah, Ganesh
my experience.
is very popular, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Is popular.
A helper.
Well, Nectar of Devotion does say that, you know, that Lord Ganesh is worshipped before. Lord
Mm,
Ganesh is worshipped to remove all the obstacles,
mm-hmm.
uh, right? But then Prabhupada knew that we may just end up asking for material desires. And so that's why Srila Prabhupada established the worship of Lord Nishingadev
Ah,
to remove all the obstacles in devotional
ah,
service. And
yeah.
in Brahma Samhita, in fact, Lord Brahma, he says that Lord Ganesh, he gets his powers of this removing the obstacles from Lord Nishingadev.
Mm, mm-hmm. So I understand now. So if we were aligned very well with Krishna, we would be using Ganesh basically to help us with our material concerns, so that we can make progress in our devotion, right? So that we have less if we are not steady enough or something. This would be the.
If we want to, but we are not
Mm-hmm.
encouraged, and that's the reason we
Mm-hmm.
are encouraged
Mm-hmm.
because the material desires are so strong. Because we may begin with that idea to come closer to Krishna, but in the end, we may just ask for material desires.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we are encouraged to worship Lord Nishingadev for that
Mm-hmm.
purpose,
I understand.
to help us in our path of bhakti. But yes, anytime if the best way to approach any demigod is to, because they are devotees of the Lord, so to pray to them to help us also become devotees of the Lord.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking about that specifically. Because as you say, they serve different functions. They're like officers in the universe, right? But it
Yeah,
made complete sense that if our ultimate goal is to become closer to Krishna, it would be more like asking the demigod, can I have this problem, but I would like to get closer to Krishna. Can you help me so that I can move on? Yeah. Thank you.
but we can go directly to Krishna. Krishna
Yeah.
encourages that
Yeah.
to to not go through the officers,
Yeah.
but go directly to him through the disciplic succession,
Right. I guess
through the acharyas, through the
I guess
spiritual
it's
master,
hmm I
through the
suppose it's
spiritual master.
scary,
Yeah,
right?
sorry.
Because sorry, no. I was saying that I suppose it may be scary because you can feel it, a total surrender, because that's what you want to do with Krishna, right? You do total surrender, and then he starts to provide. Um, and I guess that can be a scary feeling because when you go to the demigod, it's like, oh Ganesha, here's my daily offering. Here's my cup of water. Here's my flower. Here's my whatever else you want to give Ganesha, and I'm giving you attention, please help me, give me something, right? But with Krishna it's like you're completely surrendering, and I guess that might be scary, right? um
Yeah,
I'm trying to guess where the obstacle is.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. But then also
Hmm.
understanding, as Bhagavatam says, because we may have material desires. We are in the
Hmm.
material world, we have a material body.
Yeah.
So we may be practicing devotional service, but yet have material desires. But then what does Bhagavatam says? Bhagavatam says still you
Mm.
worship Krishna.
Yeah, because we're given the option, even in Bhagavad Gita, right? Like in everything you do, worship me, right? And I've been thinking a lot about it because it means, I still need to, clean the house. I still need to make food. I still need to do other stuff, right? I think we spoke about it before. And it's nice to think of it, Krishna, I'm still thinking of you. I'm gonna do this even better so that I feel that I was wondering the other day, I was cleaning the house and it was like, how would I be cleaning it if Krishna were visiting me, right? And then you think, well, he is here actually, right? Because he's with us. um I mean, you could turn that to everything. I was thinking about this, and I wonder if that sounds viable to you, if that is normal,
Yes,
even
that
with.
is needed.
Mhm,
That
mhm.
is needed. Very good. Yes, cleaning our house, thinking this is Krishna's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me do my best to clean it to the best
Mm-hmm.
capability because it belongs to Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Krishna is here. Yeah, the
So we
deity
take
is here.
mhm,
Mhm. And
taking
then
care of
expanding it to every sphere of our life. Yeah.
right, right. Thank you. Hare
Oh,
Krishna.
thank you. Thank you. Okay. So should we stop here? Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Thank you all so much for listening and joining. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.